aspire to and will eventually get to, you know, that it just takes a couple plays. It just takes a good break. It just takes finding a way to survive the adversities you have, whether it be on a football field and everyday life, to eventually become what you want to be. And I thought he had a great message for our kids. You know, kind of moving back to last week, because that's probably, you know, what people want to know about, is obviously we did a good job of it. You know, and, you know, anytime that, you know, in life, anytime that you fail, it's not a good thing. You know, I mean, just me personally, you not knowing me, and I not knowing really anybody in this room, other than what he did on the football field, you know, I think for everybody to understand is that there's nobody that takes it worse, you know, than the people that are so invested. You know, and that's the one thing that I do want everybody to understand, that we have an incredible group of kids. You know, and we've got some issues, and there's some things that we have to clean up, not only from a program standpoint, from a football another standpoint, from an execution standpoint, from a recruiting standpoint. We've got plenty of things that we have to do. We've got great kids. And if you saw, and he saw us practice today, you know, if you saw us practice today, there's no way you can say that's a 4-6 football team on practice. I mean, our kids are doing everything that we ask them to do. Is it as good as we want to do? No. Do we have a long way to go? Absolutely. Will we get there? Absolutely. There's not a doubt in my mind, okay, that we will not recruit and build this program the right way with those kids in mind and everything that we do. We'll eventually get to where we need to be. You know, and so I think that's kind of first and foremost about last week. Moving on to this week, you know, talking about Boston College, you know, I think the first thing that kind of stands out to them from a football standpoint, when you guys, when you're at the stadium, you're seeing this thing from the stands, I think the thing that will stand out to you, okay, is they're a big, rugged, physical group. You know, and I don't mean this as a backhand compliment, but everybody's going to say they're what? They're tough, they're disciplined, they do things the right way. Okay, that's what everybody's going to say about it. They play really hard, and eventually people will say that about us. You know, and that's where we're trying to aspire to be a program to go along with a great team. You know, and so they're a very disciplined group, play really hard, tackle well, and they're really sound. I think for us, you know, and obviously not trying to, you know, I think for us the biggest thing will be, can we stay on the field on the third downs? And we make routine plays. You know, we've got to be like a good baseball team. You know, we got to throw strikes, we got to make routine plays. We got to get 2 out hits. Okay? We got to catch the ball when it's thrown to us. You know, we got to target right in the run game. And on third down, just like getting 2 out hit, we got to stay on the field and extend drive. You know, and I think if we can do those 3 things, I think we'll be really successful. I really do. Because I think from a personnel standpoint, I think we match up well outside the hash marks in terms of our skill kids against their skill kids. Just can we continue to execute at a high level or improve and learn to execute at a high level? So I appreciate everybody. Okay, I appreciate you letting me stand up here for 5 or 10 minutes. Hopefully I did not bore you to death. And obviously I had not been booed out of the room yet, so I must have survived it. Anybody have any questions for me while I'm standing up here? Absolutely. Yes,
if you get more camera, I'll get it.
You could see a heavy dose of that. Okay, I think here's what makes me a really specialist. My GA at Southern Miss was his offensive coordinator in high school. So kind of everything that I would typically ask our quarterbacks to do, he has probably already done. That'll probably be something you start to see add and grow as we go. I think for him, it's not execution. It's not can you run zone read, can you run power read, can you do it. It's managing the line of scrimmage. You know, it's been a week or 2 of us kind of starting to do that a little bit more. I think you'll see it more. It's just how can you handle executing the line of scrimmage and not making sure that we have some of the issues that we've already all stars and stuff. Yes, sir.
2 questions. Why are we targeting Terry more 15? And I know he did have a rough game last week, but usually he does. And then Trayshawn Harris, why
he is fantastic with performances. All right, so number 1, Terry. I think as Terry's role has grown, I think defenses are also learning the same thing that we already know. And so for us and Terry, these next 2 football games, it's going to be to make them have to find more. And all remember those first little kids where it's better when they out. We've got to make them find him. Coming off the big games that he had against NC State, literally everywhere he went, especially when he was single over there in the boundary, which is typically, you know, he's kind of we've got to find ways to move him around and get him some of those vertical touches where they can't play cover 2 over the top of him. He can't jump it. Trayshawn, I think Trayshawn, he's unbelievable. He's a great ball and huge football player right now as a young freshman. I think it's some of those other pieces of his game to pick up, especially from the mental side, because he's still a freshman. He's had to bounce around. He's had to play outside and inside. I think as he learns more of the system, we'll be able to put him in more places to access the ball. Kind of where right now, we got to find ways to hand the ball, get him on the perimeter, and again, with us not really being able to stag and push in the run game right now, vertically, defense is kind of a little bit wider than we typically have. A little harder to get the perimeter, and so that's why I think we will, kind of work can help you aid you what you think you had. So, both those 2 guys are great players. That's a great question. Yes, sir. What about that? Can't take that. Here's one thing I can do. A lot of things that a lot of people are probably sure of, but I don't do well. One thing I can do well is I can do what my boss asks me to do. He asked me to not say that's ultimately his decision. That's what I'm going to roll. Anybody else?
Segue off that question. Did Blackman, did he redshirt, or is he? I mean, again, maybe he can't.
Above my pay grade, and I'll also have
That's what I figured you were going to say. I just was curious.
Yeah, everybody in the student management, we're all trying to stay gainfully employed. Who's the third string quarterback? Trying to take care of my new wife.
Who would be the third string quarterback? Would it be Cam, or would there be? I mean, who would be?
Yeah, if we ever got in a situation where we got the best 2, you can. Absolutely.
I know there's the idealism versus the reality type of thing, and from I wanted to ask a quick question about wanting to start strong on offense and score and winning the toss and electing to receive. Is that just a general philosophy type of thing, or?
No, I think it had much more to do with just the demeanor of that football game. We had not started fast in the past few games, and I don't think it was necessarily an offense thing versus a defense thing. Defense started on the first drive or 2. I mean, everybody in the defense. I mean, our defense was like the best defense in our league for 5 or 6 weeks, and as the seasons went on, they've gotten more damage. We haven't done our job and stayed on the field long enough. And a lot of that's just as much as our problem as it is theirs. But I think it was just we wanted to start fast. We wanted to take the ball, go on the field, get points, get our defense on the field, let them do, and start ahead. And then we have a draw ball pick. One of the things that, when you're out there, not part of the plan. Okay? Anybody else? Yes, sir?
That's first welcome. Thank you for having me here for many years. We'll talk on the other side of the ball in the offensive side. For the first time in a long, long time, we got shredded with power running up the middle. Is there any, has there been any discussion and thought in terms of bringing in one of those other big defensive tackles we have, maybe using one of those linebackers out to the sideline to try and tighten that up a little bit?
Yeah, funny you mentioned that. The group we're about to play is going to throw out 6, 7 O-linemen, 2, 3 tight ends. And so some of those things that you just alluded to that I'm probably not allowed to comment on. Your hunch on that one is probably very correct. All right, we all good there?
Yeah, and I don't want to get you in trouble.
I got to dance around some of these guys. Anybody else? Yes, sir?
We're the most penalized team in the NCAA right now.
Yes, sir.
What are we doing to fix that?
Everything that the NCAA and their parents will allow. If their parents would allow, we would. Okay, and some of their parents are just as concerned as you are and say, if my boy does that again, you do whatever you need to do. If you name whatever we're allowed to do by NCAA rules, by rules of their parents.
And I actually know mine, and I didn't recognize the stairs.
It would probably help.
The way they all, every time.
We kind of do the same thing. It's interesting you say that. We kind of do the same thing. Anybody else? All right, thank you guys.